Hello, and welcome to another new episode of the Life Optimized podcast. We help you optimize your life, health, business, and mind. And we are found on all social media at Life Optimized Pod. And you can find information at Dr. Paulvin on all social media and like us on YouTube. And we have a really cool, easygoing, but also really informative episode today. We're joined by Pam Gold, who is the textbook version of a multi-hyphenate at this point. So we're going to go through it from the beginning to now here. So Pam Gold is the founder of Portal Fitness. It was New York's first biohacking fitness space. She is the author of Find More Strength, 5 Pillars to Unlock Unlimited Power and Happiness. And she has an upcoming book coming out, Timeless in Less Time, 12 Weeks to Optimize Fitness for Life. She was also the creator of Peace Power Parenting, an online course to support conscious parenting. She is an expert in integrated physical and mental and energetic fitness. She's an expert in minimal effective dose fitness and biohacking. She grew up on her family's farm in upstate New York. She graduated from Yale and then entered the business world where she was part of an IPO at 24. So first part of the multi-hyphenate right there. Then she decided to enter the fashion business as a right hand to the entrepreneur Josie Natori, and then she left that workforce to start a family. She co-founded the West Village Parents, and then after that, she then went back and started what was Hacked, which is now Portal, which is again one of the first and only biohacking space in New York City, and she's now partnered with Formation, based in Dubai, with two locations coming to New York City, with further expansion planned in the next year or so. So that's a lot of stuff there. So what I love about you, I've known you for years, is the fact that you have combined your love for meditation and mindset to the corporate world, and you understand that mindset as well as fitness. But what you've done with fitness is kind of spun it around. It's not how to do fitness and you have to do 90-minute sessions all the time. You can help people get their maximal fitness in the shortest amount of time, which is a win on both ends. So what kind of inspired the journey initially, and where are you going? And then we'll go for deeper diving from there.
So I think ever since I was little, I've had this drive just to make the most of life. My mom was sick when I was young, and I lost some people when I was young. And so that kind of gave me that perspective. And I just loved life. I really enjoyed life. I think growing up on a farm, you just kind of connect with, the seasons and things growing. And there's just, kind of a natural connection there. And so I was always driven to be my best. I was kind of the classic overachiever. Like you said, I went to Yale and did kind of the corporate thing. It was really when I became a mom that there was this kind of shift where I kind of awoke to the fact that it was really, really important to make sure that I was my best, because it wasn't just for me anymore. Now it was kind of for my kids. And so that was a pretty big defining moment where I did a lot of the deeper work, led to the meditation, led to kind of the fitness journey where I got myself in really good shape physically, then mentally and spiritually, and I started helping other people as well. And right around that time, I also went back to work, not in the bio, running a behavioral therapy-based food and weight business. And then so suddenly as a mom, I was lucky if I had 20 minutes a day to work out. And I used to have, a few hours as a personal trainer helping other people. So that's really when I started researching the biohacking modalities and learned about some of the more efficient, effective protocols where I could get the same results that I was currently getting over hours and hours in a week in as little as 20 minutes a week, which is about how much I work out now. 20 minutes a week. It's pretty efficient.
So we're going to get into that. People are probably listening now are saying, there's no way that I can be like Pam, lift 20 minutes a week and get the same benefits. We're going to go explain that in a minute. So before we get to that, though, again, you mentioned everything. You have a job, you have children. There are a lot of people listening in that same boat where they just can't, they have to learn how to balance everything. So is there underlining or practice or tenet that people have to have, like one or two pieces of infrastructure to optimize, take the time for themselves, both mentally, be it meditation, and also to make sure that they're getting that gym time because it provides so many benefits. And then they can learn about, okay, I'm going to go to Portal and play with all these cool little toys that look really fun and help me out.
Extra. I mean, I think the first thing for all of us is the self-awareness. And it's hard because most of us weren't raised to really be self-aware. We were raised inadvertently or on purpose to kind of not listen to ourselves. Even now that you're a new dad, which is exciting, you're going to be going through potty training at some point. But it really starts at potty training where it's like, don't listen to your body. We want you to go to the bathroom when we're telling you to, as opposed to just going to the bathroom when you naturally have to go to the bathroom. So really at an early age, we're conditioned to not listen to our bodies, not listen to our feelings. Our feelings can really get in the way of things. And so when you asked, is there kind of a fundamental practice, a foundational practice that kind of underlies everything, it really is starting with self-awareness and listening to what your body, mind, and heart are telling you. Because every day, especially as a busy person or a parent, every day is going to present new challenges. And so we need to learn to listen to ourselves in that moment to figure out what is right for us. If we're looking around at everyone else and trying to listen to what everyone else thinks is right for us, we're never ever going to feel like we have the balance that we need. So we have to learn to really listen and trust ourselves, which is that's a pretty big ask. And the second piece of that, one of the ways that I got better at that is by making time to meditate. I started getting up a half an hour earlier than my kids, which when they're little could be like 5 a.m. So it's not easy. But carve out time where you can sit in silence and rewire your brain to be able to notice the subtle cues that oftentimes there's too much noise to really hear.
I totally agree. I think as I get older, and a lot of people are getting older now, and there's a lot of these pundits and kind of pundits on social media, I agree completely with what they're saying, is that you need to get all the negative voices out of your life. You don't need to be doing the workout you see on Instagram. It doesn't mean what your trainer wants you to do. It's what you feel comfortable. It makes you feel good both mentally and physically, because you have to answer for yourself. Nobody else, and you don't have to be anybody else.
Yeah.
So I hear this all the time, and I know you're really into it. So when people say, I can't meditate, what can they do to try to at least feel the benefit? And I always ask people who are really big meditators, to you, what is the minimum amount of time that I need to spend meditating a day to get the positive benefits?
Sure. So it's very common to hear I can't meditate. I too was one of those people that thought I couldn't meditate and that I didn't need to. Like some people like swimming for fitness, and I'm not a swimmer who wants to get wet, get in the pool, get their hair wet.
That'd be me.
So anyway, I thought that was how meditation was. So I was one of those people that thought that meditation was just not for me. So first of all, whenever we say I can't about anything in life, we want to smile and soften around that, because any I can't, we want to reframe it to either I choose not to, or I don't prioritize it, or I haven't yet learned how to. And in the case of meditation, if we say I can't meditate, it's because we haven't yet learned how to. And oftentimes what we think success is when it comes to meditation isn't actually what success is when it comes to meditation. So the second thing you asked me was, how long do you need to meditate to get the benefits? In the beginning, and what really cracked the code for me, it was literally a 1-minute meditation.
Wow, okay.
And a simple 1-minute meditation, and as I say that, I'm touching my fingers because it's one of the things that I learned from a variety of teachers, just to help us get into our body and into the present moment, to take 1 minute, to take 5 breaths, and you can say a mantra, like peace begins with me, and just do it for a minute. A minute is enough to change your life and change your day. Now, when you get up to 18 minutes just to plant that seed, that's when things get really magical. Because the other piece of learning to meditate is kind of knowing the stages. And people don't talk about this that much, but I learned about it when I went to yoga school. The first stage is withdrawing your attention away from your senses. So you're simply going to bring your attention away from your 5 senses, the external world, and you're going to start to notice, be in the witness seat of your thoughts, your feelings, any physical sensations in your body, but you're bringing your attention into a deeper place of witnessing those things. The second stage is you're concentrating with effort. So you're keeping your attention in one place with effort. And some people may spend their whole lives meditating at that stage. But you know that at some point, just like as a kid learning to ride your bike with training wheels, at some point you're going to be able to do it without the training wheels. And that's the next stage of meditation, where it becomes effortless for us to keep our attention in one place. And at that point we can relax into it and not try relax and simply be. And that's when it becomes really, easy for these higher states of consciousness to open for us. And it is worth it.
Oh, I mean, I've learned, again, 10 years ago, I would never believe I would meditate or journal. And now it's like, I like doing it. I wish I could do it more. As you mentioned, I have a newborn at home. So it takes a little bit of time, but meditation works when as much as I can get it. So we have the mindset and kind of that ethereal type space. And then we now going to jump into the biohacking space, which is kind of almost the opposite, very data driven, tech driven, and competitive driven a little bit. So explain to you from your perspective, what is biohacking, especially in the female space, because there's not as many, and there's a lot of men who talk about biohacking, Ben Greenfield, PRTL, so on and so forth. There's not a lot of prominent female voices in the space. You're one of them. So explain how you view biohacking and how you kind of incorporate it in your life. And then we're going to talk about how you can maximize your fitness and work out 20 minutes a week, because I need to hear this one.
Yeah. So to me, biohacking is simply optimization. Anything that we can use to improve the results that we're getting biologically in our lives. And so it literally can be something as simple as, and we had a conversation with Josh Holland, who I think you're friends with as well. He's like, yeah, just turning on a light switch is biohacking because you're using the latest technology to improve your sight. So as silly as that sounds, to me, biohacking is a term that's become very polarized and people have feelings about it, but it really is just about finding better and better ways to optimize. So it's very simple and it's all about evidence. It's all about results. So there's nothing at all negative. There's nothing at all cheating or taking away from some future self, because these are all evidence-based. It has to be sustainable. It has to be functional. It has to be adaptable, or it doesn't actually get the result.
Biohacking is not cheating. It's not skipping steps. It's not like, okay, I'm not going to eat well, but I can biohack my way to A, B, or C.
I'll get
Yeah.
drunk and then I'll get an IV. I
Yeah.
just biohacked my... No.
No. It's a maze of optimizing. It's a nice add-on to what you're doing in your basic
Smarter.
life.
It's like smarter. You're
Definitely.
being more intelligent and more precise. And the bioindividualization, as I know you know, is critical because we're all different. It's nothing is one size fits all. So
That's important. Yes. What you see on TV or Instagram is not what you have to be doing. Do what you want to do. What feels good for you, because otherwise you're going to just set yourself back. So now, I mean, it's amazing the last 7-8 years how biohacking and fitness have like just blown up completely. There used to be a couple little things out there. Now you have a whole 2-floor space that's specializing in it. So how does biohacking now mix with fitness? Where are we heading?
from an output perspective.
And I've experienced, I think, all of it except for Proteus. But just to explain to people who are listening or are watching, ARX is first of all, it looks a lot harder than it actually is, and sometimes the other way around, where it's actually harder than you think it's going to be. It's some combination of both there. But it's not. It's somewhat similar, I guess, to some of the machines, but it's much more. How? Why is it? I guess the best question is why is the ARX different than me going to Equinox or what a high end gym and just lifting
Sure.
their Nautilus machine or what?
Sure. So since ARX is an isokinetic machine, that means that it's moving through space at a certain rate of speed. At no point is the machine giving you weight or giving you resistance. The machine's just moving. And it's up to us to move against or with the machine where we're creating the resistance. So instead of us holding weight, we're creating resistance. And since we're the ones creating it, we're able to allow our body to find a sweet spot of max work at the different moments of the range of motion. And we can lower about 30% more weight than we can lift. Normally, there's no safe way to train that way. And we can lower a lot more weight kind of when we're more at the extension phase. And normally, there's no way you can do that. But having these micro times under tension in a very safe way gives us a much quicker, more precise, efficient, effective, adaptive response. We're going to build muscle, we're going to build strength and endurance in a very, very quick once a week workout.
And how long is it? Usually about what?
30 minutes with a trainer. You'll do about 12 minutes of time under tension.
And it's a full body. You could do full body, or is
Full
it?
body. Yep.
And now, is it working like the small? Like I know, is it somewhat simulate the small stabilizer muscles when you're doing whatever body part that you're doing?
Yeah. So if you do the big five, you have your prime movers, your secondary movers, and then the stabilizer muscles, and all of them are critical because when you're holding really, really high levels of weight, everything is working, and your heart rate gets up too.
And can anybody? Can the person who's getting back to the gym who's do this get the same benefits that somebody who's a high end who's been lifting for 20 years? Can they both benefit from using the ARX?
Yeah, the ARX will meet someone exactly where they are because actually we're the ones meeting the machine exactly where we are. And so whether you're rehabbing an injury, whether you've been out of shape and want to get back into it, or if you're someone focused on peak performance and wants to kind of crack a plateau, everybody will benefit from this.
And mentioned the cow bike. That one doesn't seem to have as much publicity for some reason. I want to kind of, I've done it. It's the coolest and also has little weird idiosyncrasies to it. It'll say you're riding the bike just like anything else, and then you still say you're being chased by a tiger in a forest, and it motivates you in this very peaceful but crazy way at the same time. And like you said, I mean, I'm a long distance runner. My aerobic part is great. I have a bad shoulder. My lifting part's not good, and I am tired after I do this 6-minute bike ride. So that's, again, going back to what you initially had said, you can get the same equivalent to what, a 45-minute with a 6-minute ride on the bike. And that is, again, biohacking is not cheating. It's just doing it more smarter and more efficiently to get to the same result. And I know Carol has their own data where it says it can improve your VO2 max, where, again, anybody who's into health and optimization, now I know VO2 max is one of those key things that we're looking at. Now, Proteus, I mean, Proteus is something that I see all the pro sports teams have. Yeah. It's gotten a lot more publicity in the last couple of years. So explain a little bit what Proteus is and why I want to use Proteus versus some of the other tools that you mentioned.
Sure. So the Proteus is like a 360-degree resistance trainer. So it's very similar to a feeling of moving through water. Professional athletes love it because it's been shown to be much more effective in increasing someone's power and accuracy through a power movement. So like Patrick Mahomes, you'll see him training on it, doing rotation to kind of simulate him throwing the football. Now, I'm not a professional athlete, and I will never be a professional athlete, but I love the efficiency of it because if you're moving through water, that means that you're getting resistance in all planes of motion. So even if you just think about a simple push-pull, you're getting resistance in both directions in one fell swoop. Think about a kettlebell swing and then a medicine ball slam all in one fell swoop. If you keep doing that over and over again for like 20 or 30 seconds, it kicks your butt really, really quickly, and you get a full body workout very, very efficiently. And it's all data driven, so it becomes gamified a bit. So if you are a little competitive, you can see week over week what your scores are.
Nah, it's, again, if you've watched the quarterback miniseries on Netflix, you'll see Mahomes using the same device. So it's real. So again, we're talking about how fitness and training is evolving, and you've had pieces of equipment that I've used and have been promoted. So the other things out there too that are part of athletics and performing is the connection between the eyes, your hand-eye coordination, not just building muscle strength. So there's tools such as some synaptic and other tools where people, again, more higher an athlete side, can optimize their health. So is that tools that you feel are helpful, beneficial? Should everybody be using those types of tools? Is that more fine tuned to people who are higher end athletes?
Well, I think that as we age, all of us need.
Exactly. So we mentioned throughout, okay, 20-minute fitness. We mentioned a bunch of tools. So I'm coming to you, or my wife's coming to you first time. What should let me rephrase it? So I'm somebody's out there who's listening is looking to how to do I get this 20-minute workout in that I only have to do it once or twice a week. Explain to them with some of the things that we've already discussed, or anything else you want to add in there. What should they be doing, or what should they be looking for?
Well, at Portal, we have something called the Fit 3D scan. So when someone first comes in, we do this scan, which will give you a 360-degree picture of your body, your measurements, body composition estimates, resting basal metabolic rate estimates. So you have data for kind of a starting point. So whether you're at Portal or at home, you want to do everything you can to keep track of the important metrics. Muscle mass is one of the important metrics. A VO2 max estimation is an important metric, and there's a lot of ways to do that in a low tech way. You can Google it and find a bunch. But wherever you are, you want to have a starting point, and then you want to set a plan. Whether you're working with a personal trainer or you're coming to Portal, you want to make sure that you have like a 6-week to 12-week plan, and then you see if it's getting the effects that you think it does. And it's really all about tracking and optimizing. So at Portal, obviously, we have all these super high tech ways of doing it, and you always work with a personal trainer and all of that. But someone may not have access to all that. And there are ways that I talk about in Timeless and Less Time, my forthcoming book, where you can do this without any of the high tech too.
And then another question I always get is, okay, I'm in the gym. When should I start seeing noticeable changes? My clothes are going to fit better. I can go down a size. I'm going to be able to lift more weight. What do you tell your clients that come in there? When should I notice something? And you can't just, it's not going to be the first day.
Sure. And everybody is different, right? And I always say, too, I'm like, are we talking about your sleep? Are we talking about your nutrition? Are we talking about your stress? Because those are 3 really big pieces of the puzzle that are going to impact how our body adapts to a fitness program. And so everybody's different. It has to do with where you're starting from. If someone already is relatively lean and then they start working out and they start really eating healthy, you could see a difference in a week. Like for me, if I'm not being quite as um, you know healthy with my food and healthy with my choices, and I maybe for 2 weeks kind of just take a hiatus and then I get back on the horse, I will see a difference really quickly. So it's not impossible for someone to see a difference really quickly. And for most people, you want to tell yourself it's going to be 12 weeks. And 12 weeks is what you want to kind of get yourself prepared for. And if you're in any kind of muscle building program, which hopefully you are, you also need to be prepared that you may gain weight, but you want to look at the inches because muscle takes up less space than fat. And so you want to look at how your curves are coming back and the shapes are coming back, but you may weigh more in the beginning.
Thank you for saying that, because people concentrate sometimes on the wrong numbers or don't understand what's happening. They're like, I'm getting what's going on. And again, like you said, it's how the whole big picture is not just that one number that people seem to focus on. I have patients. I think sometimes you become hyper focused on one thing and you lose kind of the whole, like you said, the whole big picture. So again, it's cool. We were just talking about this before we started. It seems like every month there's a new piece of equipment that's coming out or some new toy that's coming out, or So where do you see fitness and biohacking going over the next, let's say, year or so?
Well, I think that there's always an opportunity for a new invention, a new piece of technology to come out that really helps us take things to the next level. You know, there's nothing that I know of right now that's about to come out in the next year where I anticipate anything to really, really shift. I think that people will become more aware and informed about the technology and about the newer evidence-based practices that are more efficient and about recovery, and that's supporting the body's recovery and rejuvenation process, supporting the body's sleep and stress adaptations will help their overall mental health. And if our mental health is better, our physical health will definitely be better as well. And so I do think that mental health will continue to be more and more of a primary focus. More people will be tracking their heart rate variability, HRV, so they know whether their body is under stress and they need to do more recovery time, maybe ease up on the workouts. But that's what I think is going to continue to happen, that people are going to become more and more informed about all of these opportunities.
People are now are learning that they have to take care of their own health. That they're, unfortunately, I don't know why, doctors are not talking to them about VO2 max. Doctors are not talking about HRV. They're not, again, even though, unfortunately, they're not, unless it's the psychiatrists, aren't really engaging the mental health. As we know now, mental health is just so important. I think like 35% have some type of mental health issue going on right now, which is just way too much. And there's a lot of simple things before we have to put it on medicine to go there. Now, you mentioned recovery, and I love going to your place for recovery. I know. So, what are the 2 or 3 things that people could do to help their body recover completely? Exactly. You don't need a $5,000. I think it's like a $30,000 plunge in it. You can just go in your shower, or I know people who go to this local 7-Eleven, they'll pay $5 for a bag of ice, just throw it in their bathtub, and you can makeshift your own cold plunge if you want to, and get the
Everything
same
is
benefit.
figure outable.
Exactly. You don't need to have all these cool gadgets if you don't want to or can't afford it. So I know you have the book coming out soon. So as we kind of wind things down here, in the overall health, what haven't we talked about? What are a couple things that people out there listening should do to help their health from inside and out?
Yeah, so the inside out part I think is the most important to me. I really want to encourage everyone to really pay attention to their heart, pay attention to what the heart is telling them. The heart, the mind, and the body are often disintegrated, where one is saying one thing, another is saying another, and then the third is like on a totally different track. In actuality, they aren't ever separate. And if it feels like they are, that means that we really need to make time to sit and ask some tough questions. You said meditate, you said journal. Those are the things that really everybody I implore to start with, because the energetic fitness, as I say, some people would say spiritual fitness, spiritual health, that is the foundation for our mental health. So as much as our heart is healthy and open and we're able to enjoy our life and enjoy our people and feel safe and feel like we're enough and feel inspired and passionate and all those things, we're able to be resilient when we're in that place. And then it's easier to navigate the natural highs and lows of our emotions. Things that are sad are going to happen. Things that are scary are going to happen. And it really starts in our heart heart, whether we're able to adapt and kind of flow with that and surf that to get to the next best outcome. So for our mental health and our physical health, let's all pay attention to our energetic health and maybe do some work on what that means to us and how we can get in touch with that and get that to a higher level of power.
Exactly. Again, it's something that's become more and more mainstream, which is good that people are, again, understand there's all three work together, but understand, again, it starts with your core being, I guess you would call it. So I appreciate you coming on. Let everybody know where they can find about the upcoming book and how they can join. Either go to Portal if you're in New York City anytime. And I know you guys have an online program as well that you don't have to be in Manhattan. You can go anywhere and learn some of the techniques that Pam talked about today.
Yeah, so Portal, PRTL.com is how you can find our business. PamelaGold.com is how you can find anything personal, my personal stuff.
Awesome. So, and we don't have an exact date on the book release yet, correct?
No,
But look for
so
it.
many things happening.
A lot of good stuff happening.
Good
Definitely check her out. Check out Portal on social media. There's a lot of cool stuff they have on there and showing kind of the cool stuff that we talked about. You can see it in person or on social media and enjoy it. It's PRTL on Instagram, right?
Yep. And Formation is in Dubai, so buyformation.com are my partners in Dubai.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on. And any of you want any links, I'll put some links in the show notes, a couple of things we talked about so you don't have to worry about writing all this stuff down. Thank you for tuning in for the Life Optimized podcast, where you optimize your life, health, and mind. And stay tuned for some new episodes. See you guys soon.